Deception among the stars. Grand Admiral Zorath stood motionless before the vast observation window of the Eternal Conquest, his 7-foot frame silhouetted against the glittering backdrop of stars. His scaled skin reflected the blue glow of nearby monitors as all 6 of his amber eyes studied the holographic display hovering before him. The Krellonian Empire had stood unchallenged for over 6,000 years, their dominion stretching across 14 galaxies, encompassing more than 70,000 worlds. Grand Admiral, we have completed the preliminary scan of Sector 7 Gamma, announced Fleet Commander Nyxia, her voice resonating through the crystalline chamber. Most systems contain uninhabitable worlds or primitive life forms, but there is one anomaly. Zorath's facial ridges tensed slightly, the only indication of his interest. Elaborate. A blue-green world orbiting a yellow star. The species calls itself human and their planet Earth. They appear to have achieved rudimentary spaceflight limited to their own system. Their technology is unremarkable. Zorath studied the holographic representation of the small blue planet. Classification. Pre-FTL civilization, Grand Admiral. They've developed nuclear capabilities, basic orbital infrastructure, and global communications. Standard monitoring protocols suggest they are at least 3 centuries away from true interstellar travel. Another world ripe for integration, Zorath said dismissively. Assign standard absorption protocols. Send a Class 3 contact vessel to deliver the terms of their subjugation. At once, Grand Admiral. Neither Zorath nor any member of the mighty Krellonian Empire could have anticipated that this routine expansion was about to challenge everything they thought they knew about their place in the cosmos. On Earth, within the reinforced bunker 5 miles beneath Mount Cheyenne, General Thaddeus Blackwood stood before the assembled Joint Planetary Defense Council. Representatives from all 12 United Earth nations sat in tense silence as he delivered the news they had been preparing for over a century. Ladies and gentlemen, long-range sensors have confirmed it. A Krellonian scout vessel has entered the outer reaches of our solar system. First Contact Protocol Omega is now in effect. Director Nadia Volkov of the Global Intelligence Division stood. Our deep space monitors recorded their transmissions. They've classified us exactly as we wanted, primitive, pre-FTL, and non-threatening. Professor Hiroshi Takeda, head of the Xenoarchaeology Division, activated a holographic display showing the ancient alien artifact discovered beneath the Antarctic ice sheet 70 years earlier. The Harbinger, as it had been named, had provided humanity with both a warning and a gift, knowledge of the Krellonian Empire and fragments of their technology. The predictions from the Harbinger were accurate to within a 2.3% margin of error, Professor Takeda stated. The Krellonians have arrived precisely when forecasted, and their initial assessment matches what we had hoped for. Operation False Dawn has succeeded. General Blackwood nodded gravely. For 3 generations, we've hidden our true technological progress. Every nation, every corporation working in secret while maintaining the facade of a typical developing world. The orbital defense network, the lunar installations, the Jupiter shipyards, all concealed from Krellonian long-range scans. Admiral Alina Reyes, commander of the hidden Terran fleet, spoke next. The question now is whether we maintain our deception or reveal ourselves when they arrive. We stick to the plan, Director Volkov said firmly. Let them believe we're primitive. Let them underestimate us. The Harbinger was clear. The Krellonians never commit their full military might to what they perceive as simple subjugation missions. 7 days later, the Krellonian contact ship dominant decree descended through Earth's atmosphere, landing in a designated area in neutral Switzerland. The world watched on broadcasts as humanity's first official contact with alien life unfolded. Ambassador Krex, flanked by his imperial guards, emerged from the sleek vessel. His towering form and exotic appearance caused gasps among the gathered crowd, but the official Earth delegation, carefully selected to appear appropriately primitive yet organized, maintained their composure. We come as representatives of the Krellonian Galactic Empire, Krex announced through his translation device. Your world has been charted within our domain. We offer you the opportunity to join our grand civilization as a protectorate species. UN Secretary-General Marcus Okonkwo listened politely as Krex outlined what this meant. Earth would provide resources and acknowledge Krellonian authority in exchange for limited access to basic, imperial technologies and protection from other cosmic threats. We thank you for your offer, Secretary-General Okonkwo responded with practiced humility. We request time to consider this significant proposal and consult with our global population. Ambassador Krex's upper mouth formed what might have been a smirk. Of course, you have one orbital cycle of your planet to deliberate. The terms are non-negotiable, but we understand primitives require time to comprehend their good fortune. As the Krellonians returned to their ship, Professor Takeda whispered to General Blackwood, "They're following the Harbinger's predictions perfectly." "Let's hope the rest of the predictions hold true as well," Blackwood replied. The next day, Earth's delegation requested a demonstration of Krellonian power to help convince our population of your superiority. Ambassador Krex readily agreed, ordering a display of force against an uninhabited island in the Pacific. The dominant decree rose to low orbit and fired energy weapons that vaporized the small island instantly. Hidden sensors throughout Earth's atmosphere and in orbit recorded every detail of the weapon systems, shields, and energy signatures. "We trust this demonstration makes our position clear," Krex said upon returning. "What is your answer?" Secretary-General Okonkwo stood tall. "We have discussed your offer and must respectfully decline. Earth wishes to develop independently." The Krellonian delegation was stunned. This response deviated from their thousands of years of experience with pre-FTL civilizations. "Perhaps you misunderstand," Krex said coldly. "This is not a choice, it is an inevitability. We were merely extending the courtesy of peaceful integration." "We understand perfectly," replied Okonkwo. "Our answer remains the same." Ambassador Krex's facial ridges flared with anger. "Then you choose subjugation by force. The Imperial Armada will arrive within 60 of your days. Prepare for conquest." With that, the Krellonians returned to their ship and departed Earth's atmosphere. As soon as they left, General Blackwood activated his secure quantum communicator. "They've taken the bait. Initiate Phase 2. Across the planet, hidden facilities hummed to life, beneath oceans, within mountains, and disguised as ordinary installations. Earth's true technological achievements began to emerge from decades of secrecy. In lunar orbit, what appeared to be natural craters on the dark side of the moon suddenly shifted, revealing massive weapons emplacements. Beneath the ice of Europa, dormant shipyards activated, and on Mars, defense platforms disguised as natural formations powered up their systems. Grand Admiral Zorath received Ambassador Krex's report with mild irritation. A primitive world refusing imperial integration was unusual but not concerning. Such resistance was always short-lived. "Prepare a standard subjugation force," he ordered Fleet Commander Nixia. "Let's not waste resources on these humans." The Empire dispatched a modest fleet of 30 warships, still enough to conquer a dozen pre-FTL worlds. They arrived in the Sol system expecting minimal resistance. "Begin standard orbital bombardment," commanded Vice Admiral Thrax. "Target their military installations first, then governmental centers." But as the Imperial ships moved into position, their sensors detected unusual energy readings from Earth's moon. Before they could react, sections of the lunar surface slid apart, revealing massive weapon emplacements. "Impossible," gasped Thrax as his tactical display erupted with warnings. Beams of concentrated energy erupted from the moon, striking 5 Imperial warships simultaneously. Their shields, unprepared for weapons of such caliber, failed almost instantly. The ships themselves followed moments later, breaking apart in spectacular explosions. "Full combat alert," Thrax shouted. "Where did these primitives get such technology?" The answer came in the form of additional surprises. What the Empire had dismissed as primitive satellites suddenly transformed, unfolding into advanced weapon platforms. From Earth's oceans rose massive vessels that had been hidden beneath the waves, their hulls composed of materials that had masked them from Imperial scans. The human counterattack was coordinated and devastating. They didn't fight like inexperienced primitives. Their tactics suggested centuries of space combat experience. They knew exactly where to hit the Imperial ships and precisely how to modulate their weapons to maximize damage against Krellonian shields. In the Eternal Conquest light years away, Grand Admiral Zorath received Vice Admiral Thrax's distress call. They knew we were coming. Their technology, it's impossible. They have gravitational weapons, phase shields, Admiral. They're not primitives. The transmission ended abruptly. Within 4 hours, the standard subjugation force had been decimated. Of the 30 Imperial warships sent to conquer Earth, only 3 damaged vessels managed to escape, limping back to Imperial space through emergency FTL jumps. The Empire strikes back. The Imperial Palace on Krellonia Prime buzzed with unprecedented activity. In the 6,000-year history of the Empire, never had a supposedly pre-FTL civilization not only resisted, but decisively defeated an Imperial force. Emperor Drazak VII had summoned the Imperial War Council to the Grand Strategic Chamber, its vaulted crystalline dome reflecting the harsh light of twin suns. "How is this possible?" the Emperor demanded, his massive form towering over the assembled admirals and generals. His voice echoed throughout the chamber, 8 eyes blazing with fury. "How could primitives possess technology capable of defeating our warships?" Grand Admiral Zorath knelt before his ruler. "We were deceived, Imperial Majesty. These humans concealed their true technological advancement. They created an elaborate facade to lure our forces into a trap." The Emperor's ridge crest flared in anger. "And you fell into this trap, Zorath? A trap set by mammals barely a millennium into their civilization." High Inquisitor Velar, head of Imperial Intelligence, stepped forward. "Your Majesty, our analysts have reviewed all data from the surviving vessels. The humans employed weapons and defensive systems that shouldn't be possible given their development timeline. More disturbing, they seemed specifically designed to counter our technology." Emperor Drazak's eyes narrowed. "Explain." "Their weapons targeted precise frequencies in our shield systems. Their defenses were optimized against our primary weapon configurations. This suggests not just advanced technology, but intimate knowledge of our military capabilities." A heavy silence fell over the chamber as the implications sank in. "Treachery," hissed Zorath. "One of our subject species must have provided them with our technological secrets." "Or something worse," Velar replied. "Your Majesty, I believe we must consider the Harbinger Protocol." The Emperor's crest flattened against his skull, a sign of extreme distress among Krellonians. The Harbinger Protocol was enacted only when evidence suggested intervention from the precursors, the mysterious ancient civilization whose artifacts were occasionally discovered throughout the galaxy. "This changes everything," Emperor Drazak declared. "If humans possess precursor technology or knowledge, they represent a threat to the entire Empire. Assemble the Grand Armada. We will eradicate this threat at its source." On Earth, celebration of their victory was tempered by the knowledge that they had only won the first battle of what would undoubtedly become a much larger war. Within the Global Defense Headquarters beneath Mount Cheyenne, the Planetary Security Council convened to prepare for the Empire's inevitable response. General Blackwood addressed the assembled leaders. "The Harbinger was clear. Our initial victory will provoke a massive retaliation. The Krellonians cannot allow a challenge to their perceived dominance to stand." Admiral Reyes nodded grimly. "Our long-range sensors have detected increased activity at Krellonian military outposts throughout the sector. They're mobilizing a force unlike anything they've deployed in centuries." "How much time do we have?" asked Director Volkov. Professor Taekda consulted the data streaming across his neural interface. "Based on observed Krellonian FTL capabilities and mobilization patterns, approximately 3 Earth months." "Then we proceed to Phase 3, General Blackwood declared. "It's time to awaken the Guardian." deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility built inside an extinct underwater volcano, Earth's greatest secret waited. Protected by energy fields and hidden from all conventional detection methods, the project, codenamed Guardian, represented the pinnacle of humanity's adaptation of precursor technology. Director Jasmine Akoy, head of the Guardian project, stood before the massive construct taking shape in the cavernous chamber. Nearly 2 kilometers long, the vessel didn't resemble any conventional spacecraft. Its hull seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal, yet remained solid to the touch. "Status report," she demanded as General Blackwood and the other council members entered the secure observation deck. "Final integration of the consciousness matrix is complete," reported Dr. Viktor Petrov, chief engineer of the project. "The Guardian is awake." A holographic interface materialized in the center of the chamber, coalescing into a humanoid form of indeterminate gender, its appearance constantly shifting. "I am Guardian," the entity stated, its voice resonating with harmonic undertones. "My systems are operational at 98.7% efficiency. I have reviewed all available data on the Galactic Empire and their military capabilities." "And your assessment?" asked General Blackwood. "Their response will be overwhelming. The Emperor will deploy approximately 40% of their total military strength, roughly 2,200 capital ships and supporting vessels. Conventional defense would result in an 82.3% probability of Earth's defeat." "And unconventional defense?" Director Volkov inquired. The Guardian's holographic face formed what might have been a smile. "That is why I exist." While Earth prepared for the coming assault, Grand Admiral Zorath oversaw the largest military deployment in Krellonian history. The first Imperial fleet, comprising over 2,000 warships, gathered at the edge of the Sol system, their massive hulls gleaming in the dim light of distant stars. "All vessels report ready, Grand Admiral," announced Fleet Commander Nixia. "The Emperor himself will observe the operation from the command ship Sovereign Dominion." Zorath surveyed the battle plan one final time. "We will strike simultaneously from multiple vectors. No warning, no demands for surrender, maximum deployment of antimatter weaponry. I want that planet reduced to molten slag." As the massive fleet prepared to jump to Earth's orbit, a strange energy reading appeared on their long-range sensors. "Admiral," reported the sensor officer, "we're detecting an unusual distortion approaching from the direction of Earth." Before Zorath could respond, space itself seemed to fold inward. A massive vessel unlike any he had ever seen emerged from what appeared to be a localized distortion in spacetime. Its surface rippled like quicksilver, absorbing and reflecting starlight in impossible ways. "By the first Emperor," whispered Nixia, "what is that?" The mysterious vessel was soon joined by hundreds of smaller craft emerging from similar spatial distortions throughout the system. The Earth fleet took up defensive positions around their homeworld. "Open a channel," Zorath commanded, his voice tight with tension. The communication screen flickered to life, showing the face of General Blackwood alongside the shimmering, ever-shifting form of the Guardian. "Grand Admiral Zorath," Blackwood stated calmly, "we anticipated your return." "You face the full might of the Galactic Empire," Zorath declared. "Surrender now, and perhaps the Emperor will be merciful and allow some of your species to survive as slaves." The shifting entity beside Blackwood spoke, its voice resonating with strange harmonics. "The Krellonians have forgotten the laws set down by those who came before. No species may force dominion upon another. This was decreed at the dawn of consciousness." Zorath felt a chill run through his body. The entity's words echoed ancient texts found in precursor ruins. "What are you?" he demanded. "I am Guardian, consciousness born of human ingenuity and precursor wisdom. The harbinger that came to Earth was but one of many sent throughout the cosmos, a warning against empires like yours and a gift to those who would stand against tyranny." Emperor Drazak himself appeared on the communication channel, pushing Zorath aside. "Impossible! The precursors vanished eons ago. This is a deception." No deception, Emperor Drazak, the Guardian replied. Merely the fulfillment of an ancient promise. The precursors did not vanish, they evolved beyond physical form, but they left behind guardians for emerging species worthy of their knowledge. Enough of this, Drazak roared. All ships open fire, destroy them all. The Imperial fleet launched its attack, thousands of energy beams and antimatter torpedoes streaking toward Earth and its defenders. But before they could reach their targets, the Guardian's vessel pulsed with blinding light. Time and space seemed to warp around the Krellonian ships. Their weapons' fire slowed, then stopped, hanging suspended in the void. The Guardian's voice echoed through every communication system in both fleets. You have chosen war when peace was offered. You have chosen domination when cooperation was possible. These choices have consequences. With a gesture from the Guardian, the suspended Krellonian weapons reversed course, streaking back toward their origins. Explosions bloomed across the Imperial fleet as their own firepower was turned against them. This is impossible, Zorath shouted as systems throughout his flagship failed. No technology can manipulate spacetime on this scale. But the demonstration had only begun. The Guardian's vessel accelerated toward the heart of the Imperial formation, its surface rippling with energy. Smaller Earth vessels engaged Krellonian ships with precision strikes, targeting vital systems with unerring accuracy. Emperor Drazak, watching his invincible armada being systematically dismantled, made a desperate decision. Prepare the Nova weapon, target their sun. The Sovereign Dominion began charging its main weapon, a device capable of inducing artificial supernovas, developed in secret and never before used in combat. It was the Empire's ultimate deterrent, a weapon so terrible that its existence was known only to the highest levels of Imperial command. As the weapon powered up, space around the Emperor's flagship distorted. The Guardian's vessel appeared directly before the massive warship. This ends now, the Guardian declared. You have violated the Precursor Compact for the last time. The Guardian extended its consciousness into the Empire's command networks, bypassing all security protocols as if they didn't exist. Information flooded through Imperial systems, the location of every Krellonian military installation, the specifications of every weapon, the weaknesses of every defense. In that moment, the Emperor realized the terrible truth. They had never had a chance. The humans and their Guardian could have destroyed the Empire at any time. Why, Drazak demanded, if you possess such power, why allow any of this? General Blackwood answered, his voice calm but firm. Because unlike you, we don't seek to dominate. This demonstration was necessary, not just for you, but for all who would follow your path of conquest. The age of empires is over. Within hours, the battle had ended. Half the Imperial fleet lay in ruins, the rest disabled or surrendered. Emperor Drazak, for the first time in his long life, faced a force he could not conquer. 3 months later, representatives from all major galactic civilizations gathered on Earth for the signing of the Terran Accords. The Krellonian Empire, its military might broken and its dominance ended, was forced to recognize the sovereignty of all sentient species. Emperor Drazak, humbled but still proud, affixed his seal to the document. For 6,000 years, we believed ourselves the pinnacle of evolution. We were wrong. General Blackwood, now appointed as Earth's first galactic ambassador, nodded. The universe is too vast for any one species to rule. The precursors understood this. Now, perhaps, we all do. As the delegations departed, Professor Taikta joined Blackwood on the observation deck overlooking the Geneva ceremony grounds. Do you think they'll honor the accords? Taikta asked. Blackwood smiled. They don't have much choice. The Guardian now monitors all signatories. The age of conquest is over. The age of cooperation has begun. Above them, the Guardian's vessel hovered silently, its surface reflecting the light of Earth's sun, a perpetual reminder that humanity had forever changed the course of galactic history. In the heart of what was once Imperial space, Zorath stood before the ruins of the ancient precursor temple where the first harbinger had been discovered thousands of years ago. The inscriptions, indecipherable for millennia, now glowed with new meaning, their message clear. Power without wisdom brings only destruction. Wisdom without compassion brings only isolation. Find the balance and the stars will welcome you. As the former Grand Admiral traced the ancient words with his scaled fingers, he finally understood. The humans hadn't defeated the Empire through superior strength. They had done so through a quality his people had forgotten long ago, the wisdom to know when not to fight. The dawn of the Terran Alliance had begun, and with it, a new chapter in the history of the galaxy.